Hello, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Now, the season of the high view counts has begun. What I mean by that is anybody that, especially small creators or even big creators, you always notice there's an uptick in your views this time of year. It's because of ad revenue on YouTube. I've noticed this for the last 3 years. Um, Always this time of year, you'll have videos that normally you get like 5, 10, 15 views, at least for me. And then all of a sudden you're getting like 25, 30, 87 views. And it's like, what the hell? Oh my God. So if you're watching for the first time because the algorithm wants you to watch and wants that ad revenue for commercials, give me a thumbs down. You're not going to hurt my feelings, but I'm really curious as to which, are you watching this because you are notified because of you are subscribed to me? Or was this video suggested to you by YouTube? I'd really like to know. So if you could give me a thumbs down, that'd be greatly appreciated. That way I myself will know uh, how the traffic is and whatnot. So, and at the end of the video, if you like it, you can subscribe. So, and of course, comments always help. So if you're a new viewer, give me a comment. The piece I'm working on right now is a commission for a couple that's their son, their younger son, with his dog. They had actually just had to put the dog to sleep, and this was their younger son who had died about 3 years ago from an unfortunate accident. So they're wanting me to do this piece because primarily at the timing of having their dog having to recently put the dog down. So, but so that's what this is the piece I'm working on. Now, I was the beginning of the week, the way things have been going, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna have to do one of those. This is a Thanksgiving stream, and this is what I'm thankful for. I hate those. I hate it when people. I just hate the whole big monologue of what you're thankful for, and especially in TVs, you'll have like they'll do the Thanksgiving episode of Pacey's Pacey's Corner, and Uncle Mac from the inception of the book of the TV show. Uncle Mac's been a hardcore drunk, and then he sobers up 2 episodes before the Thanksgiving episode, and he goes in this big melodramatic. I'm thankful for the fact that I'm sober and I'm no longer an alcoholic. And you know damn well it's been because that's been his story arc from the very first episodes that he's an alcoholic. You know damn well 2 episodes after this, if not the end of that episode, he falls off the wagon again. So I hate that. What are you thankful for Thanksgiving? No. So, but thankfully, not thankful, but thankfully, Kayla, because the indie comic scene has become so toxic, she did some surveys on X. And as she put it, she's like, hey, it's what I'm seeing on my feed and on YouTube shows that I watch. So I have questions. And she shared some of them. And I know one of my comments that she shared probably caused her some flack because she had to put a notation on Twitter like, hey, this is what I'm seeing in the space. So, Kayla, if you're getting uh, pushback because of my comment, I apologize, but I have to be truthful. And what it was that it was about like uh, backing creators and like, would you back them in the future or whatnot? And my response was, uh, I have Godlike still unopened, and I keep it unopened as a reminder to be a lot more careful and not just jump at a back in a project just because there's so much buzz around it and so much energy and excitement. No, just be a lot more careful with your funds. And I'm sorry, pushing down and attacking fans online and then pulling that whole "it's just K-Fab, guys, it's just K-Fab." No, I'm bye bye. I don't have time for your bullshit. So that was another thing she also brought up was about professionalism, and I think part of the problem with a lot of these professionals is they've been work for hire for so long that they've been their own bosses, and they forget that when you're working in an environment and you're working for a company, you can't just shoot your mouth off. You you have to understand that you're working for the company, and if you do and say stuff that's detrimental to the company or the company doesn't approve of, you're going to get pushback and you're going to be disciplined, including possibly fired. So, I just that's my thing with this whole is that like I said it's been a long time since a lot of these guys worked for someone, and we're not. Just like I said, when you work for hire, you work for yourself, and well, it's very admirable in some ways. You are shooting your mouth off, and where other regular person can't. So, but the main thing, the two top, there's like two things. Well, just a couple things. First thing about Kayla. Okay, I have a great deal of respect for Kayla. Okay, she is a comic book nerd. Okay, I first saw her on Ott and stuff, and she proved herself right off the bat when she was talking to those guys that she's a nerd. She is a nerd. She works at a comic book store. She's a huge Art Adams fan. I mean, she's the type of person where it's like you can talk about a comic book that Art Adams did work on and be like, how the story's shit and it's such a bad book. And she's like, it's Art Adams. I don't care. I mean, she is a true Art Adams fan. And with a lot of fake geek girls in this space who do YouTube channels, and you can kind of tell that they really don't know jack shit about the books. They're just, oh, this is a male dominated space. If I'm on this show, I'll get a lot of views. Why? Because I got tits. Okay? Does Kayla have tits? Yes, but she's got a brain, and she's a huge geek. She puts all other of these geek girls in the space to shame. She's a true comic book fan. And with that, she stands heads and shoulders above all the rest when it comes to talking comics, which by and large, most of us in this space, that's what we want. We don't care. We don't care what you look like. We don't care anything about you other than the fact that it's like, are you a comic book fan? That if we want to talk about a book from the 1970s, or let's say we, out of the blue, we want to start talking about West Coast Avengers, the original run, with Bob Hall doing the artwork and Brett Breeding doing the inks. And they're fighting Graviton. She'll be able to jump straight and hold her own in that conversation because she's a real comic book fan. So that's why when it comes to her with these surveys, she's not doing them for attention. She's not doing them for clout. She's doing them because she's generally curious about the tone and feel of this space. So that's where, like I said, that's why I take her surveys much seriously that compared to others. There's other girls in this space that some became comic book fans because of this space, so they look at things differently, but they are fans. And then there's others you can tell that if it's not, they're not fans. They're doing it for the attention. So, but the one thing she said was, she asked the question, should former pros be promoting indie comics? My answer to that is no. It's not the responsibility of these former pros to be promoting indie books. First and foremost, as Billy Tucci even put it, well, before I go there, first and foremost, you as an independent creator, you got to earn it. Okay? You got to earn it. And you earn it with the content of your book. So, you think of it this way, Pete Sametti, he's got, what, up to 10 issues of his books? Okay? So, he's going to be taken much more seriously than Vaughn Coleman. Vaughn Coleman just put out his Phenomenova, and everything I'm seeing is that it's a great book. Okay, same thing with John's Longbox. John's Longbox, he just put out his. Everybody's saying great things about it. Okay, that gives both of these guys credibility for when they do their second issue, and they do their third issue. Von Coleman's even said that it's issue 2 of Phenomenova, even though he just finished fulfilling Phenomenova, he already has issue 2 completely done. If so, that's a big deal. So he, because of having the book fulfilled so quickly, remember, he launched it within this last year. I want to say it was like what, May? So is it May he launched it and he had it fulfilled by Thanksgiving? That's pretty damn good. So you know that when he does issue 2, he's going to be produced. He's going to get that book in your hands. He's not going to make you wait such a long period of time as other creators do. I like the fact that he's one of those creators where it's like he's forward thinking before. So he has issue 1 down, and he's already got issue 2 in the works, being worked on before he even gets that second campaign even launched. That's great. And I think that makes him a future leader in this space. Okay? So that's how I feel about it. Now, with some of these creators, these pros who have pushed back on this, again, it's up to us as the creator to be noticed by them. Billy Tucci's even said that his lowest viewed shows were the ones where they were pushing independent comics. Graham Nolan, from the very beginning, did state that he himself only promotes books that are at like pro level quality. Here's the thing though, is this kind of gets to my other topic, which is drama streams versus art streams. Okay. One thing I'm noticing a lot is there's a lot of cliques and people inside bubbles. Okay. You really think about it. We've got multiple art streams. There's the trash cast, post kangs. There's the professionals. There is the pontificators, and there is unhinged. Okay, I'm just going to use, and then of course we got Michael Bancroft. Okay. Thing is, there's not a lot of overlap. You'll have like R.T. Bear, who's on Trash Cast, who's on, well, or Comics Gate Kings. I don't know if he goes on Trash Casts. He's on the professionals and his pontificators. But does he go onto any other streams other than that? So he's only getting what's being said on those shows, whereas things being said on the now defunct chat, now being or unhinged, he doesn't hear what those guys are talking about. Or if he hears about it, he's not interacting with them. Again, let's use unhinged as the example. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Luke. Sorry, Jason. But here's how I'll use them as the example. Okay, they do a show every Tuesday night. Okay, I am sure that if Billy Tucci were to reach out to them, go like, "Hey, I want to be on your show with you guys," they'd send him the link. They'd send him the link. He could be on the Bros, go after the Bros, go eat dinner, and then go on the Unhinged with those guys. I'm sure Billy would have a completely different experience with Unhinged as he's on with the news with Kings or the Bros. Okay, just as with when everything came out about the chat, okay, and Vanessa nuking her channel, I got the sense that specifically Graham and Billy, they were making comments based off of what Ethan was saying. You could tell that they did not even watch the show, or they've never watched the chat. They might know of the chat, but they've never watched an episode. So my thing is one of those where it's like to everybody, and this is where the hardest thing is that is it the responsibility of the former pros to promote the small guy? No. Is it the responsibility of the small guys to promote the big guys? No. But there is the networking, which is you got to show that you're part of the whole community, in my opinion. Which means that you got to, some of these pros, in my opinion, would benefit going on to these small shows, even if let's say they're drawing in the evening, okay, and they are just in the chat, commenting on the chat, okay, at least show some of these smaller shows that you are there and that you have an opinion about it. The reason why I say it like that is I think about this is that, like, as the saying goes, and it was said I think by Ethan, he goes, we sit at a different table. Okay, I worked hard to get where I'm at. I don't have, I don't need I don't need to uh, promote you guys. Just as Jason Pearson, prior to his death, he went on a rant about all of these people that were working for Marvel and DC that didn't earn it. Okay, whereas he earned his spot working for the bigs, for the mainstream comics. Okay, what I would like to know, and this would be a good topic for the professionals, is what pros, what pros in the comic book industry snubbed Graham Nolan when he first started because he hadn't proved himself yet? Who snubbed Andy Smith? Who snubbed Art Thibert because they hadn't earned that spot yet? Okay, because I'm sure that there were instances in the beginning of their career where they hadn't earned it and they were still fighting to validate that they were worthy of being in this space. Okay, in some ways, I think about how it's kind of reversal, that there's the indie scene where, yes, it's an indie scene, it's independent publishing. So we look at it, and it's one of those where it's like, look, you came in, you've got X amount of years working or in the mainstream, you're a known commodity. Therefore, you are going to have a large audience. Okay, but what gives you the right to put down these small creators because they haven't gotten there yet? Okay, there's these guys, some of these guys, you can see them getting better and better. So what gives you the right to put them down? Because at one point you had to have been at that exact same spot. Whether it was at shows or in the editorial room or somebody in the professional industry was putting you down. Okay? I'm certain a lot of you guys at one point, Shane tells all these stories all the time, how he would have his phone and fax machine, because he didn't have the money to pay the bills. Here, his phone and his phone line, which was for his fax machine, also was constantly getting shut off. So there was an issue with communication. Okay, he had to he had to fight tooth and nail. Some of these guys in this indie scene, it's like, hey, I can't. I need to pay the bills. Therefore, I can only work on this during the weekends or in the evenings. So as a result, they're not where you guys are now at, but that doesn't mean that they do not have the potential to get there. It just may take them longer. Where this independent scene helps them is it gives them a voice. So why is it that they have to constantly fight against these pros and in some ways be put down by these pros when at one point these pros need to reflect on where they came from and what they had to go through. So that's how I feel about it. So, but so well, this video is going much longer than normally it does. So if you're here watching at the end, thank you very much. Remember, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Comments always help. And remember, everybody, life is stressful. Just take it all one dot at a time.